just days after Charlie Kirk was shot, a Philadelphia radio host wrote an article about Kirk titled, quote, "Black America Should Care That Charlie Kirk Was Murdered." We're joined by the author of the article, Dr. James Peterson, host of, quote, Evening Words on WURD in Philadelphia. Good morning to you, Dr. Peterson. Let's get to the heart of the article. Tell us why the Black community should care about Charlie Kirk's death.
Well, part of what I'm trying to establish in the article is that there is a longer history of political violence in this nation, and that when we do not take a very serious look at political violence and understand that history, then we might miss out on the fact that it has had a tragic impact on the Black community. I'm thinking about MLK, I'm thinking about Medgar Evers, I'm thinking about Malcolm X, and so many others, right? I'm thinking about all the ways in which political violence has afflicted the Black community in this nation, and wanting folks to take a moment and take a beat and think about that history in this particular moment. Just because a particular figure may not espouse viewpoints that you agree with or that I agree with, I don't think it makes it any less serious an event when political violence rears its head here in the United States. And so I was trying to do that on one side of it. On the other side of it, I was also trying to 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 manage expectations about what you're going to see on social media as well, right? Like, people use humor sometimes to work through complicated issues, and so it can't always be seen as disrespect. And obviously, Charlie Kirk himself was a huge proponent of First Amendment rights, and so it's a little bit ironic that in the moment, in the aftermath of his murder, there's been a little bit of a chill on free speech and speaking critically about his ideology and his ideas, or even about this situation.
Yeah, there's been a witch hunt for anyone who says anything bad about Charlie Kirk, and it seems so counterintuitive. Charlie Kirk himself would have encouraged debate about his statements and his legacy.
Well, it's interesting. You have such a provocative title, Dr. Peterson, Why Black America Should Care That Charlie Kirk Was Murdered. But if you had to take the temperature, do you think Black America does care?
That's interesting. I host a talk radio show, so I'm talking to Black folks like every day, but I'm very hesitant to take the temperature in our community about this issue. What I would say is that, just judging from the reaction and the impressions and people speaking out about it, yes, they care, right? Like, I don't know if they care in terms of like, well, we're sad that this happened, or we believe that the ideology that Charlie Kirk spoke about during his lifetime is something that we agree with. But I think people care because it reflects a certain moment that we're in the sort of national political narrative, where the silos and the divisions amongst us politically are so profound, and you can see this unfolding right now as unfortunately some folks on the right are really politicizing the murder of Charlie Kirk, and really weaponizing it in ways, again, that I think that people in the Black community are familiar with. And so we care about it. I think it's about trying to understand what it is we actually care about within the framework of this complicated situation.
What do you make of his many statements about Blacks over the years? Many feel they are certainly racist. Others say they were taken out of context. What is your sense of that?
Charlie Kirk has definitely espoused some anti-Black rhetoric over the course of his public career. I don't think we can mince any ways about that. Now, there are certain issues. So, for example, I'm in favor of reparations. I believe that the federal government and local governments and private banks should repair the African American community for the long history of enslavement in this country. Charlie Kirk was against reparations, and he could articulate his position as such. But and I would have loved to debate folks about that, right? But there are too many times, I believe, where Charlie Kirk's general ideology is to erase the history and erase the historical experiences of Black folks in this country to make certain claims about the nature of Black life in America in the 21st century. I don't want to get our audience too much into the weeds, because Charlie Kirk was a smart guy, but he was too quick, in my opinion, to elide the history of Black folks in his critique of Black people in America.
What should viewers take away about the dangers of normalizing political violence?
Yeah, so this was another key piece I was trying to get to with the piece, and I write for a living as well, but I don't always make my points exactly the way that I want them to do. I don't think that anyone should applaud political violence, and I don't think that anyone should look away from political violence. You have to have a clear-eyed view of what it is and what it means. If someone's viewpoints, what someone says, can rise to the level of someone assassinating them or trying to take their life, number one, we've seen this before, and for the Black community, we've seen it way too many times in our community, in our history. We've seen the government sanction political violence in our community, and so we should be more sensitized to it. We should be more wary of it. And I think that unfortunately, the conversation that has unfolded in the aftermath of this terrible tragedy has been too much impacted by people trying to control what people can say, instead of having a more generative conversation about, how do we take the temperature down a little bit? How do we diffuse some of this? How do we address the challenges of young men or young people being consumed by ideologies on social media? How do we reach out to our communities and speak to them in a way that can diffuse some of these situations before they unfold? Otherwise, if you look away, or if you laugh at it, or if you dismiss it, I think we missed an opportunity to move forward beyond something as terrible as this particular moment that we're in.
Yeah, to actually honor Charlie Kirk's legacy. I too, I'm with you. I don't agree with much of anything he said, but I do love the fact that he took his debate to his critics in an open forum. And I think, if I had to guess, in this moment, he would want us having a dialogue and a conversation, not silencing free speech. It is a very strange and tough moment we are in. Dr. James Peterson, well written, well said. Appreciate you coming on.